So this Oscar thing's kind of a lock, right? I mean, you've already,
I'm winning.
You're winning.
Oh, I'm winning.
Yeah.
You got to figure, because, you know, there's people out there that think Daniel Day-Lewis, you know. But I got to say, honestly, I mean, between you and I.
He looked just as good as he does in those stovepipe pants.
Oh, listen, I could have done that. Was he like Walter, you know, Houston? I could have done that. The thing is, I decided to be much more subtle in my performance, which was to basically play myself. And that's not easy if you're and you know, the work he does is fine, but I really think that I stepped it up.
Yeah, I think so too. Now, the directing and starring in Leatherheads, how did you do that?
But, you know, that's a terrible job. Honest to God, it is the dumbest thing I've ever done, because the whole time you're doing it, you look around at your friends like, because there is a certain amount of ego that is involved in directing yourself. Because, you know, you and I are doing a scene and we're talking and I go, and cut. And I thought I was very good. Or I was terrible. It's just embarrassing and it's dumb. But it was one of those things where I was, it was a decision I made early on to do, and then I was stuck doing it.
Now, I was going to ask you about new projects, and I know that you're going to be in the Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Yes, I've just done that. I've done the voice for that already.
But now, are you worried at all? I mean, first it was Sparky the gay dog, and now a fox typecasting?
It could really be over for me, you know, in terms of animals.
Well, a wolf, maybe.
Maybe I could pull that off.
Yeah.
You know, later in my career, when I'm wolfish.
Can you give us a little of the Mr. Fox voice? Is that
Yes, I can. It sounds exactly like this. Is that bad?
That's good. Can we have some Sparky the gay dog?
It sounds exactly like this.
Okay,
that's unfortunate for me, and unfortunate for those guys.
Well, congratulations on your nomination, and we hope you win.
Yes. Well, listen, that's a lie.
I know. I'm just saying that so that people will think that there's a chance that you might not.
Okay. In case I don't, let's try it again. Let's just say, ask me, do you think I'll win?
So, do you think you'll win?
God, Daniel Day-Lewis is really good, and he'll probably win.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. This is such a franchise. Did you ever have any idea when you first did this movie that it was going to be 4 films, maybe more?
No, definitely not. I mean, when we started on this movie, it was just like my little brother's favorite video game, and we played together, and I thought, how cool would it be if I could be the girl from Resident Evil for him?
And of course, now the technology has advanced so much that you're able to do so much more.
Well, yeah, I mean, definitely the 3D aspect made things definitely closer to home. A kick and somebody's head or somebody's hand, and you know, so we ended up getting punched a lot and kicked a lot, and you know, became very, very real. It's like brought it really close to home.
Now, in this film, Alice is experiencing some loneliness, I think.
Well, yeah, you know, I feel like it's wonderful because for the first time in so long in any of these films, Alice really is able to be part of a team again.
Now, did your daughter come on the set?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, we picked the days where all the zombies weren't there, of course, you know, because that's pretty scary. But she comes with me everywhere. She's a real set baby.
Oh, now, this character is kind of, it's like you saw a lot of yourself in the character.
Yeah, definitely. I could relate to her big time. I felt very protective of her immediately, and I was kind of like, I didn't know that I could do her justice.
You were a big into theater when you were very young. Did you have high school experience, anything like this at all, or?
I was homeschooled for high school. I was in high school for 1 semester, but while I was there, I did the play, which was Noises Off, which was really fun, and yeah, and I did a lot of theater growing up.
Now, tell me about the new movie that you're doing, The Help.
Yeah, I'm working on it right now.
How's your southern drawl?
I don't know. I'm trying. I gotta go back to Greenwood, Mississippi, and work on it a little bit more.
Now, tell me a bit about what's happening with your character in this film. The
well,
journey
it picks up with Claire has suffered a little bit of amnesia, and it takes time. I think, you know, what Paul wanted when he was writing this was really to show a little bit of an arc in Claire, to show her vulnerable side, and really, you know, plant that question of who she can trust.
Are there any plans for number 5? Do you know?
No, and you know what? I don't think they planned this one after they finished the 3rd. You know, it's one of those things that I think if it organically comes to be.
Now, you were in a wonderful movie on which you met your husband. Wasn't that Homo Erectus?
Yeah, it was a wonderful time, and you know, sometimes you do things, but they lead to other wonderful things in life, and to get my husband out of that is so unbelievable.
Now, does this compare at all? I mean, can you remember back in high school, were you one of the picked on or the pick-on-ees?
I can't remember. No, I was actually pretty much in the middle. I was pretty low key.
Well, was it more fun for you to be Blue or to be the woodchuck?
Blue.
Yeah.
Blue was more free. You know, I was essentially like naked from the waist up. In fact, I was just in paint.
Give it up for your very own Blue Devil! Blue Devil!
What do you think about the film versus TV? Is it something you want to do more of film?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think that's where most people, you know, you do TV as a platform, and whether or not you can utilize it as a platform is another thing. But for me, yeah, I mean, absolutely. I just did a film called Margin Call this past summer, and another one with Stanley Tucci.
Yeah,
and I actually was able to interact with him, whereas in this one I didn't. And it had a fantastic cast, and I had a great experience. It was really a learning experience for me. Just, I mean, Kevin Spacey and Paul Bettany, Jeremy Irons, Demi Moore. It's just like, you know, it was a really great time.
Now, what's going on with Gossip Girl?
Season 4, it's bigger, better. We're in Paris. There's a baby. There's a gunshot wound and a brush with death, and I think there's a wedding. I mean, there's a whole lot. I can't be more specific because, you know, they're so sensitive with race and that kind of stuff. Yeah. But
baby love.
There's a lot coming, and I think people will be excited.
Not at all sure that Mel Gibson can survive this latest racist remarks and bigoted comments that he's made. I think the big difference between this episode in Mel's career and the one in 2006 where he made the comments about Jews being responsible for all the wars in the world, the big difference is that now we're hearing him. And the impact of hearing someone say this stuff is a lot different than just reading it. If Mel Gibson apologizes to the public and to Oksana, and the assault charges are dropped, I could see the public forgiving Mel. But it's going to have to be a major apology, and it's going to have to be involving something other than just an I'm sorry. I think everybody really is going to want an explanation of the deep-seated problems that Mel has, and this is going to have to be addressed in therapy, long-term therapy. He's 54 years old. This has been going on for some time. William Morris has dumped Mel Gibson. Now, the big question for all of us is, was it because of the bottom line? Were they making enough money off of Mel and his movies? Or was it simply because he has now bottomed out as a marketable actor in Hollywood? I do think that it might have been a combination of bottom line and bottoming out. I do think that Ari Emanuel, who's the head of William Morris, has been wanting to get rid of Mel for quite some time, and this was a perfect opportunity. I think Ari had a real problem with what Mel said back in 2006 about the Jews being responsible for all the wars in the world. A lot of people in Hollywood still have a problem with that. Mel's got a lot of friends in the industry, a lot of people that he's worked with like him very much. Julia Roberts, Jodie Foster. He's got a lot of friends who probably don't ever see this side of him, or if they do, they're willing to make allowances for it. I mean, I'm sure everybody has a crazy uncle that, you know, goes on racist rants at dinner parties when he has too much to drink. But they haven't spoken out because they're probably not knowing what to say at this point, and they're probably waiting, like all of us are, to see what comes out next before siding with him. I mean, if it turns out that these threats and the photos of abuse of Oksana come out, then that's going to be a whole different story. Mel Gibson's career is not quite the gangbuster Hollywood career he used to have. He's basically a 54-year-old aging action star. I mean, he really hasn't done anything other than action movies and buddy movies lately. He had one romantic comedy, What Women Want, with Helen Hunt, so that was a long time ago. He's not so powerful in terms of box office, but in terms of what he does behind the scenes and getting movies made, he's got a lot of money, and money's power in Hollywood. What's next for Mel Gibson? Well, that's the big question, isn't it? He does have a new movie coming out called Beaver, in which he plays a really crazy guy that carries a fake beaver puppet around and thinks it's real, and it's being directed by Jodie Foster. All I can say is this movie better be really good. Sandra Bullock has had such a breakthrough this year with winning an Oscar and a Razzie and having a hit comedy, The Proposal, that I think she could pretty much do anything she wants and it would be successful. Audiences love her, so it just kind of depends on which direction she wants to go. Sandra Bullock has the unique quality of being so relatable to every woman and also every man. I think that's what makes her unique. She's not threatening to women at all, and she's also one of the women that guys really want to hang with. I don't think that Sandra Bullock should take any time off. I think she should proceed with her career and her choices, try to put this behind her and move on. I think that that is what everyone would like her to do. I think that's what she will do. It's true that Sandra Bullock really kind of proved herself in Crash, and that was an ensemble cast. And she's shown in that, and I think she got a lot of critical praise for that role. I could see her in another ensemble cast movie like that, where she could just shine again. This has been unquestionably a really rough time for Sandra Bullock, a great year and also a devastating year. But I think, as most people in this sort of situation would find themselves, they'd want to go back to work. You can really go back to work, take your mind off things, work through things, and I think that's what she's going to do. I don't think Sandra Bullock needs the money. I don't think she needs to go back to work. I think she will want to go back to work. She's a very driven, very ambitious young woman, and I think this is going to be the best thing in the world for her to do, is to get back on her feet, back on the horse.